Don't be afraid of people calling you a coconut for not wanting to treat white people as enemies for no reason. Don't be afraid of being labeled a self-hating black, coon, house nigger, or as some people would say, a clever black. These are labels that should not offend you. If you're white, you might be labeled a racist even when you're not one. You're not allowed to complain or point out what is wrong in South Africa because if you do, you are racist. Don't play their game. Stay true to the facts. Whether black or white, you will find someone who will hate you for wanting to mend bridges and hold the true enemies of our country accountable. Too often we have heard it said that do not listen to so-and-so and do not associate with that person or this person because they are puppets of so-and-so. Do not have dealings with that nation because their intentions are to harm you. And while sometimes these statements are true and valid, other times they are just rubbish. We know that China as we know it today would have never become a reality if not for a change in leadership and direction. What do I mean? Under Mao Zedong, communism was a way of life in China. Expropriation of land, farms, mines, and all the means of production was a preferred way for the communist government. While they did all of that with a beautiful intention to take the country through what Mao called the Great Leap Forward, the actual result was the Great Chinese Famine, which killed 30 to 55 million people over 4 years. After the death of Mao, a new leader rose. His name was Deng Xiaoping. The characteristic in him that I believe led to the salvation and even rise of the Chinese people was his willingness to pause, evaluate what his party and nation were doing, acknowledge that it wasn't working, be willing to look around and see what other nations are doing better, visit them, consult them, copy what he saw to be working for them.
Deng Xiaoping is a great man. He was fortunate to live long enough and he had the courage to say, no, we change course.
He went down to Shenzhen and said, learn from all countries in the world, and most of all, learn from Singapore. The order is good, and they are a very prosperous society.
This is a characteristic that we need as South African citizens and leaders. By doing so, South Africa, like China, can see a change in trajectory from poverty caused by communism to prosperity caused by free markets. One of the countries that Deng went to learn from was Singapore, which was under the leadership of Lee Kuan Yew. Did you know that at the time, Lee was called a puppet of the West by Deng's own nation? The Chinese press, that is. Did he say, oh, I can't go and visit Lee Kuan Yew because my people view him as the running dog of imperialism, a running dog of the West or the running dog of America? Absolutely not. He saw that his nation, including those who were condemning Lee Kuan Yew, lacked the success that Lee Kuan Yew managed to attain for his small island of Singapore, and Deng was wise enough to seek out the knowledge of how Lee did it.
In November 1978, China's paramount leader, Deng Xiaoping, embarked on a historic trip to Singapore. Little did he know, this small island nation, then vilified by the Chinese press as a running dog of Western imperialism, would play a pivotal role in modern China's destiny. As the only other independent nation with an ethnic Chinese majority, its incredible success story, under the visionary leadership of Lee Kuan Yew, resonated deeply with Deng, who was searching for a new path for his country after years of turmoil.
China was large in size, population, and resources, but Mao, the leader they had, lacked the wisdom and understanding needed to run a nation, and hence he wasted and lost many of the valuable resources endowed to China. Singapore, on the other hand, was a small country that is small in size, small in population, and lacking dismally in natural resources. But the leader that they had wisdom and understanding that was necessary to turn this tiny island smaller than Johannesburg into a global player competing with global leaders. Which reminds me of a saying by the wise King Solomon, "Blessed are those who find wisdom those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. We have heard it said with pride that South Africa is a wealthy nation because it has many mineral resources, and that is very true. South Africa is blessed with a large territory and population, blessed with a pleasant climate and plenty of natural resources. But that is not all that matters. That is not the only key to prosperity. Otherwise, South Africa, along with many other African nations, should be the global leaders, right? They should be leading the globe with the highest GDPs, greatest innovations and advancements, but they are not. Why? Because frankly, many lack the wisdom and the understanding necessary to turn the assets and advantages they have into tangible results that benefit their citizens. South African citizens and leaders need to evaluate and identify who in the nation possesses the required knowledge and wisdom to lead the nation to prosperity. Instead of following the typical comrade habit of refusing to take the advice of certain people simply because of the labels the people have been given, such as white monopoly puppet, racist, clever black, or whatever, imagine how much the nation would benefit from engaging these people. We can even take it a step further to creating relationships with nations that have proven to possess more knowledge and wisdom than us. Know that admitting that someone else is better than you does not mean you are weak. It actually means you are strong, having the necessary humility and vision to get better. Instead of some Chinese people recognizing this truth, they chose to rather vilify Lee Kuan Yew. Thank God Deng Xiaoping didn't listen to the naysayers, but got onto a plane, went on to get the wisdom and the understanding from Singapore's Lee Kuan Yew.
The man that you most admired of all the people you'd ever met was Deng Xiaoping.
Yeah.
That's what you told me.
Yeah.
Deng Xiaoping admired you too because he sent Chinese, 30, 40,000 of them, to Singapore to figure out what you were doing. Am I right?
Yes. He was astonished when he came for the first time in 1978. He found a Singapore which was contrary to what he was given in his brief.
Yes.
He found a prosperous, orderly society, everybody owning their own homes and with a job. So I said, how did you get there? I said, well, we educated our people, and look at all these companies, Americans, Japanese, Europeans. They bring technology, they train our people, we learn how to do things. So he said, oh, you made use of capitalism to build a more egalitarian society. Everybody owns their own home. I will do the same.
And he did.
He did.
Those same Chinese naysayers benefited from that decision. Chinese people are enjoying the prosperity of China today because of Deng's decision to seek out the wisdom and understanding Lee had to lead his nation to competitive prosperity. What were the results? Rapid economic development, pragmatic governance, and improved bilateral relations. Deng was impressed by Singapore's rapid economic development, which was largely based on market-oriented policies, foreign investment, and a strong focus on infrastructure. This visit played a role in influencing Deng's decision to implement similar economic reforms in China, including opening up to foreign investment, promoting private entrepreneurship, and focusing on economic modernization. Additionally, Deng also appreciated Singapore's model of governance, particularly its emphasis on pragmatism, strong leadership, and effective administration. Finally, the visit helped strengthen diplomatic relations between China and Singapore. It marked a period of closer cooperation, especially in the economic and trade sectors. Did Lee say, "Keep your China and let me keep my Singapore"? No. Did Lee try to harass and antagonize the communist countries? Or did Deng Xiaoping do the same? No. Diplomacy is very, very important. Lessons for South Africa are many. Let those with ears hear.
Not long after returning, Deng would spearhead the creation of China's first 4 special economic zones in 1980, with overseas Chinese and foreigners flocking to these regions to invest and set up factories, including in the now booming Shenzhen. And even though diplomatic relations with Singapore would not be officially formed until 1990, China, recognizing Singapore's expertise, would invite Singapore's ex-Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Goh Keng Swee, to serve as a special advisor to these 4 special economic zones and to be an advisor on China's coastal development and tourism in 1985. The Chinese press would also stop calling Singapore a running dog of capitalism, instead praising the small city's development and describing Lee as an old friend of China.
Just imagine if Deng chose to believe that Lee Kuan Yew was the running dog of imperialism and chose to not speak with him, not to consult him, not to seek his guidance, wisdom, or understanding. There is a great possibility that China would not be the economic giant competing against nations like America and Russia today. There's a great chance that the modern success of China that we see today would have taken much longer than it actually did. Now, to you and I. How many job or business opportunities, open doors, and other things did we miss out on because of other people telling us don't mix with so-and-so because they are a particular race, because they are racist, because they are this or that? How many of you are refusing to really listen to me objectively because you have been told that I hate black people, I'm funded by the DA and white monopoly capital? How many people have refused to vote for parties that are said to be white parties only to vote for the ANC that is not serving any color?
The main problems here, as in the rest of South Africa, are poverty, unemployment, and of course, insecurity. One of the first programs launched by the new municipality, the installation of solar street lighting. A neighborhood lit up at night is bound to be safer. The second step towards improving living conditions, solar panels for over 500 homes, including Kobiles.
This is a solar panel. We are using it to charge the battery. The battery, put it inside, so we put outside the solar panel, so it will be charging the battery inside.
A kit includes the panel, a battery, a bulb for each room, and a phone charger. When Kobile and Grace are asked if they voted in the November 2021 municipal elections, the answer is a resounding yes.
Yes, we do
did.
vote. How?
DA, obviously.
We're not afraid. We're not, because we see the difference. Yes, for a year, because it's a year, it's a big difference to 27 years where we did not see the difference.
This includes water tanks, which are now supplied on a daily basis. Another new policy.
I will say everything is changed because we have everything now. And we have a say. If you want to say something, we go straight to municipality and say what we want to say. It's not like before. When you want to talk to the municipal mayor, they won't allow us.
Now to South Africa. How many investments and trade deals has South Africa missed out on because our leaders run their mouths and fail to be diplomatic, choosing to be communist and anti-white first before anything else? Because of the privilege of history, it is easier for us to look at China and say, good thing Deng did what he did with Lee. But why is it harder for us and our leaders to look back and learn from those that have done it before us? I mean, there is nothing new under the sun. What has been will be. What has been done will be done.
And when they tried to stop him in 1992 from going too fast, he went down to Shenzhen and said, learn from all countries in the world. And most of all, learn from Singapore. The order is good and they are a very prosperous society.
Following this endorsement, several hundred government delegations would flock to Singapore that year to study Singapore's experiences. In the same year, Nanyang Technological University became the first training ground in Singapore for Chinese government officials to learn about Singapore's development model and has since trained tens of thousands of officials from nearly all of China's provinces. Unable to handle the large amount of visitors, Lee Kuan Yew would propose for Singaporean and Chinese officials to work together on various joint projects so both countries could learn from each other.
Let's allow history to teach us that communism is not the way for nations to prosper. Let's allow history to teach us that association with right individuals, right leaders, right ideas, and right nations is what we should be pursuing. What are we fighting for? A step away from communism and its policies and an understanding of a free market economy that will result in more citizens being employed or running their businesses. Let us not allow the nonsensical habit of don't deal with capitalists, they are all evil and bad, to hinder us from succeeding. Let us not allow the propaganda of all white people and certain black people want all black people to fail and to return to apartheid. That can hinder us from associating with loving and knowledgeable people who can help us succeed.
You had one political party for 27 years, which is one way of thinking, one culture, one ideology, one system, and then you come up with something completely different. So, they talk about human behavior being difficult to manage. You can buy pens and you can fix roads and you can do those things, but human behavior. But there's been a lot less resistance than I thought.
At the Municipal Council, the 13 elected representatives of the majority party sit on one side, while those of the opposition sit on the other. There are 2 councillors from the EFF party, the Economic Freedom Fighters, on the radical left, and 10 from the ANC.
To the committee, we appreciate the document that has been submitted to us. I want to understand if we have any questions when we have gone through the documents, who are we going to contact?
The atmosphere seems cordial, but no opposition councillor from the ANC nor EFF responded positively to our numerous interview requests. For the past year and a half, the mayor, an economist specializing in development, has been getting his hands dirty in the procedures and bureaucracy of the municipality.
Committees on committees on committees on committees, because you've got one for health, one for libraries, one for museums, one for, everyone's got a committee for something. Is it possible for us to incorporate this into existing structures so that it is more productive and functions?
Ward committee members thinking that there are many councillors.
The aim for the mayor and his first deputy, Sandile Mikati, is to be as efficient as possible.
Just as Deng's visit to Singapore, Japan, and America highlighted the potential for developing China's economy through similar modernization strategies, focusing on industrialization, education, and attracting foreign capital, South Africa's association with nations that are performing better than us could result in the same for us. Singapore's emphasis on economic pragmatism and its soft approach to governance had a significant impact on the direction of China's policies during the era of reform. South Africa can also learn which policies would work best to replace the communist policies that we have been trying for the last 30 years to our own detriment.
But you admire him because you think that he saved China.
From collapse.
From collapse and implosion.
Yes. That's no mean feat. For a man of 76 to abandon a lifelong belief in Marxism-Leninism.
Fellow citizens, be very careful of pushing away the very thing or person that is there for your betterment. Nothing wrong with testing the individuals. I mean, even the Bible tells us to test all things. So I'm very happy with you testing Citizen Concerned. Check the facts behind what we share here. Check out our motives and then conclude for yourself objectively. The same applies to that neighbor, that colleague, that person who may have ideas on how you can improve your life.
China would posthumously award Lee the prestigious China Reform Friendship Medal in 2018 for his contributions to China's growth story.
Don't just chase them away. Don't just look down on them. Don't just avoid them because you've been told not to associate with so-and-so for this reason or the other. Make your own decision. Anyway, that's it for today. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Katlego. This is Citizen Concerned. And until next time, beware of the comrades.